Where'd you get that melody?
Originally entitled A Crack in the Wall, Hadestown has been classified as a modern folk opera, getting its inspiration from sung-through musicals such as Hamilton, Sweeney Todd, and The Great Comet of 1912. Taking place in a New Orleans-inspired Greek amphitheater, the score features the likes of folk, pop, and Dixieland songs, with a poetic lyric to retell the story of Eurydice and Orpheus, but reimagines it with a timeless American Depression as the backdrop. Similar to the original ill-fated Greek myth, the impossible optimist Orpheus goes down the road to hell to save Eurydice after she dies of hunger. After Hades is touched by Orpheus' song, they are allowed to leave under the condition that he mustn't look behind to make sure she is following him, for if he does, she will stay in the underworld forever. Unlike the original myth, however, Eurydice actually chooses to make the deal with Hades to go to the underworld in order to save her from her hunger and poverty. Hadestown also tells a parallel but complicated love story of Hades and Persephone, who leaves him for 6 months of the year to bring the season to the earth. The story is narrated by Hermes, a messenger to the gods, and in this version, a guide to Orpheus.
First sort of inkling of this story and this show came out of nowhere. I was driving in my car and these lyrics came into my head that went, "Wait for me, I'm coming, in my garters and pearls, with what melody did you barter me from the wicked underworld?" And those lines never made it in.
Hadestown marks the first time in over a decade and the 4th time in Broadway history that a woman was given sole authorship of a musical. Singer-songwriter Anaïs Mitchell from Vermont wrote the music, lyrics, and book for Hadestown. Mitchell graduated from Middlebury College in 2004 with a degree in political science before going on to write an indie folk album under the recording label Righteous Babe. Fascinated with the Greek myth and telling a longer story through song, she, along with primary arranger and orchestrator Michael Chorney and the original director and designer Ben T. Matschik, began contemplating the concept of Hadestown in the form of a song cycle in 2006. In 2010, her recording label released a concept album of the music, working with co-arranger and orchestrator Todd Sikafous, and featuring her voice as Eurydice, Justin Vernon, Annie DeFranco, Greg Brown, Ben Knox-Miller, and the Hayden triplets. In 2013, Hadestown started to take shape as a theatrical production when director Rachel Chavkin, who won a Tony for her direction of The Great Comet in 2017, came on board. Hadestown opened at the New York Theatre Workshop on May 23rd to positive media reviews, followed by engagements in both Canada and London, and a shift to a proscenium staging before opening on Broadway on April 17, 2019, at the Walter Kerr Theatre with a cast of both old and new, over a decade after the original song cycle in 2006. Under Chavkin's direction, the creative team featured the work of Drama Desk Award-nominated set designer Rachel Hawk, 3-time Tony-nominated costume designer Michael Prass, Tony-winning lighting designer Bradley King, Tony-nominated sound designers Nevin Steinberg and Jessica Paz, 3-time Bessie Award-winning choreographer David Newman, music director and vocal arranger Liam Robinson, orchestrators Michael Chorney and Todd Sikafous, and dramaturg Ken Corniglia. The original and current Broadway cast most notably includes Reeve Carney, Andrea DeShields, Amber Gray, Eva Nobizada, and Patrick Page. Along with the principal cast, a multi-talented and diverse ensemble cast consists of Jewel Blackman, Yvette Gonzalez-Nasser, and Kay Trinidad as the 3 Fates and a chorus of workers, which was added in the Canada production. Hadestown was well received both critically and commercially. Nominated for 14 Tony Awards and taking home 8 in 2017, including Best Musical and Best Featured Actor for DeShields, the indie musical has a total box office gross of $62,235,335, selling to an average of 100.6% capacity at around $166 per ticket.
How does the wall keep us free? My children, how does the wall?
It is not a mystery as to why the show is so well received by its audiences and critics alike. As many of the creative team has touched upon, the show's concept reaches far beyond the original Greek myth to point out many human truths in a timeless and ultimately politically relevant way. Touching upon a variety of cultural, political, and historical references such as the Dust Bowl of the 30s, climate change, industrialism, and ironically but symbolically, the wall, the production is set in an ambiguous era, lending itself to interaction with multi-generational audiences. Originally inspiring many of these ideas was the re-election of George W. Bush. Similar to the unrest swarming around politics today, Mitchell stated, "So Hadestown became a mashup of me being an idealistic activist kid, coming out of school, and then hitting the reality of the world and seeing this guy getting elected again, and not knowing how deep that corruption was. All those elements exist in Hadestown, about this naive artist, and is it possible that art can change the world?"